Hello, hello, crafty peeps. Welcome back to my channel, Crafty-ish Kristyn. Today, it is time for a WIP and Chatty rant. What is a WIP and Chatty rant? You may be asking yourself. WIP, W-I-P, stands for work in progress. And a chatty rant is me chatting and ranting about the goings-on over the past week or so. I did not get one of these out last week because it was a week. And I'm a little late this week, but you know what? I know you guys will give me a little grace, a little flexibility. So what are we working on? We are working on Roybot. This is the custom Rokari patch kid that I had created for my husband out of his favorite garbage pail kid, Roybot. And I did get a round drill kit because I wanted it to go a little bit faster than a square. And even with the rounds, I feel like the detail is coming out super, super good. And the light is shining and these are really sparkly. So it's kind of hard to see some of the detail. But like down here, we've got the ground, we've got the words. The words are coming out so good. I always worry about words and letters in a diamond painting because we've all seen some that are questionable, but no worries here, thank goodness. And I'm confident that the ones up top will also look fabulous. And then we have his armor that looks kind of dirty and dingy and worn, and we're really getting into the flames and the fire. There are a bunch of these. I think they're called the luminescent drills, and they're kind of a milky frosted drill. They are adding a really cool effect. And then there's also, I think there's also ABs. There's the luminescence, and then I don't know if there's a glimmer or a shimmer, but there are metallics as well. So looks amazing. Very happy with that. I am at the, I'm gonna say halfway point. Maybe not exactly halfway, but close enough. This is from Rokari, and I will have the website listed below for information on how to order and how the ordering works. Their Facebook and their website is the best place. And this is, again, excuse me, friends, excuse me. This is what it's going to look like. Yay! Let's see. I do have 2 rows of release papers, and these are the new pink and black papers for Mushmellow at Dark and Creepy Diamond Painting and Eyes event, the pink and black event that will start January 1st. So I will have a link below as well. You can choose the cute ones or the creepy ones, or you can get a mixture of both if you can't decide. And then I am going to throw up the ones from last year because I do love these cute little cat ones as well. And then for me personally, I will only do 2 rows of cute paper, and then I will have some of like the white stuff just because I feel like these roll better if I do have to roll. And just with it bending and moving, you know, I would rather save my nice release paper and not have it get all bent up and potentially damaged, which I took this one off, and if you can see, I must have gotten a little bit, there must have been a rough edge or something, and the glue actually ripped the back part of my release paper off. And that happens, you know, at the end of the day, this is paper. It does have a special coating, but it's not invincible. So what I like to do, don't put this back on your canvas, number 1, because the paper part will stick to your canvas. What I like to do when this happens is I like to cut the release paper just a little bit wherever that, you know, jaggedy ripped side is, if you can do it. If not, then maybe it's best to retire the release paper. But it was a Care Bear one. I'm so sad. But I will probably use my paper cutter so, you know, it's an actual straight line because I can't cut straight lines. What else am I using? Before I forget to mention, Bee's Crafty Corner does have a website, and they also have Etsy. However, I believe she is trying to focus mainly on the website, just because, you know, if you've ever sold on Etsy, you know, they take a percentage. But for some countries, the website is not available for shipping. So if you have any questions, highly recommend reaching out to Sabrina at Bee's Crafty Corner. She will get you taken care of. The rest of the things that I am using, I have my ZAP Designs pen. They are on Facebook. Love these pens. I get them turned a little thinner. I like a thinner pen myself, and they are nice and lightweight. This one is from Flawa Designs, and this is a cute little pink and black skull. Again, very lightweight. I love lightweight pens. This is a tray that one of you guys sent to me that you 3D printed. There is a free file, and it is from Ephemera 3D, one of my favorite tray companies. And this is the perfect size for a canvas like this, where there's a decent amount of confetti. And in my pen, I am using some Kristyn Creations putty in cinnamon. However, I was having a problem with it sticking to my drills and leaving little bits. And so what I did, because I was like, I love the smell, I love the color, obviously. I took a little chunk, like that little chunk right there. And I took it and I put a layer of nanotape down, and then I kind of layered it and I cut it, and then I just did this. And I just kind of incorporated the putty and the nanotape in there. And I do believe, and I don't know their formula, so I do believe there is already some nanotape in here. So I feel like for me personally, I need less sticky, soft putty. So I did do this yesterday, and I put it in my pen, and I do feel like it is leaving less behind. So that's fabulous news for me. So I believe that is it. My drills are over here in the storage case, but I can't reach them. I gotta move them. So let me zoom in and we will get started. Don't go anywhere. All right, let me get my first color. And before I forget, I hope everybody is doing awesome, well, and amazing. Oh, I pushed a little too hard. Did you see those jump? Yeah, my goodness, starting off strong here. Woohoo! And if you're not awesome, well, and amazing, I hope that you do get awesome, well, and amazing very, very soon. Because you are awesome. Yes. Let's see. Diamond painting related things. I did not kit this up on camera. I know, I'm sorry. I did not think I would have time to, number one, when I unbox it, because I really wanted to start working on it. And it's the, the Rokari bags, and I always have so much static with them, And so my brain was thinking, oh my gosh, it's going to be static, central, and the static's going to have a party, and it's going to invite all of its friends. And so I just was like, nah, I'll just, you know what? I'm just going to do it real quick, or well, not real quick, I should say, because I figured it would take a while. So I figured I would just be sitting there watching TV, putting the drills in containers. There was barely any static. I was like, what? Are you kidding me? I actually was checking the bottoms of the drills to make sure that they weren't secretly acrylic. Because, like acrylics, they don't have as much static. And I was convinced. I'm like, oh my goodness. Are these acrylic? Did I just get punked? Nope. They are indeed the resins. But for some reason, the static was not there. I was like, well, that figures. The one time I don't kit up a kit on camera, there's no static. Yeah, so that was funny. It was kind of funny. I was kicking myself that I didn't just try to do it on camera, because it would have been a much shorter kit up video, that's for sure. Oh yeah, so this one is going well. I am doing like a row or two on this one, and then working on something else, as I usually like to do. I am almost done with Bat Kitty, and that is the Bat Cat from ever after. That one is going really quick because there's a lot of color blocking in that one, which is a nice balance with the two round paintings, one being almost all confetti and one being a lot of color blocking. I mean, there is still some little areas where you have a few different little, bits of color for some detail, but not like this at all. No, no, no. And I did do a row of printing, and that is the Diamond Art Studio UK kit. And that one is looking magical, as I knew it would. I absolutely knew it would. And that is about it. Oh, I did do a few of my minis from the Diamond Design Co. And those are almost done. Those have taken me a while to do just because I only do them when we're watching a movie or something. And I'm not the fastest when I'm trying to diamond paint on the couch. Some people can, work on a lap desk or something and have it be, hunky-dory, but not me. I am a bit of a mess when it comes to that. I drop a lot of drills. I spill a lot. I did get Duck Bath from Diamond Art Club. 2 Diamond Art Clubs in like a matter of, 2 weeks or whatever. Considering I hadn't ordered them from them in over a year, maybe even a year and a half. I'm like, wow. But I'm good for now. I think I am good for now. I won't even get to do any of the duck paintings until probably after the first of the year. So, gotta chill on the ducks. And, I do think it's interesting how, like, they must have really gotten a bunch of those because that was the only restock when it happened. But, it's just, some people like them, some people don't. There's a lot of paintings out there I don't care for. But it's just like the fact that they have the one restock and then people are like, when's the next restock? It's like, it's been 5 hours. Give the company a freaking break, people. I mean, I know people want the things they want restocked, but I'm sure the company is doing everything in their power to restock as much as they can, but at the end of the day, their hands are kind of tied by manufacturers and shipping. And then let's say for Duck Bath, let's say they ordered 10,000. I have no idea how many they ordered. Well, maybe that took a while to make that many. Well, then if they restock something and they only get like 100 of them and it sells out instantly, then people are going to complain and moan and groan about that. So there's no winning. I would not want to be a business owner. Any of you guys who are business owners, I don't have thick enough skin to be a business owner because I would not be able to hold my tongue when I did something that I thought people wanted and then instantly people started complaining because they wanted more. Nope. That's when someone would have to push me into the back office and tell me to go have a Dr. Pepper or go get myself a cookie because I'd be getting mouthy. Yeah, I would. And I have a bunch of stuff coming from random companies like diamond painting stuff and not diamond painting stuff. And I don't know if it's just I have really bad luck with shipping or it's just shipping sucks everywhere. I would rather not get an email saying, oh yeah, your order shipped, when in fact it has not shipped. Please just send me an email that says, hey, we printed your label. Because when I see my order shipped, I'm thinking, great, it's on a truck and it is on its way to my house. Not, we printed a label and it's going to take us 2 weeks to get it to the delivery fulfillment center, and I get it, man. It's got to be hard out there. But man, oh man, I have several things coming that are coming from overseas, like, they're coming from probably China, and the delivery shipping information is non-existent. It's basically, oh, hey, we received your order. Oh, it's in customs. It's processing, and it'll make it look like it's still in China. And then it'll show up on my front door and it'll say, Oh, still in customs processing. You know, I feel like we have the technology for tracking things, you know, and yet it's still so hit or miss with so many things. And it's hard because then, you know, again, small businesses, man, you guys take a lot, I'm sure, you know, because like there are things that I ordered at the same time other people ordered, and then people are already getting that order. And I'm looking at my tracking and I ordered, you know, the day it came out or whatever, and I'm going, okay, well, where's mine? I want mine. You know, this person got theirs, but it's all the mercy of the shipping and the mail system. I'm not a fan of, what is it? DHL in our area is a joke. They literally put stuff on our fence, like hung it on our fence and didn't deliver it to us before. And I am not a fan of OnTrack, and so I don't like the Diamond Art Club uses OnTrack apparently now, because I don't feel like the tracking and the reliability is there personally for me. But again, I don't have a business, thank goodness, and I will not be getting one. Nope. I think Amazon has completely ruined us for having any patience for having something delivered to us as well. Because I'm so used to, oh yeah, order it. Oh, it'll be here tomorrow. And then when you actually have to wait, it's like, no, I don't want to wait. I want it right meow. I want it right meow. So I know I'm not the only one who is impatient. So, but I am willing to admit it. I'm very, very much willing to admit it. I think that is it for diamond painting stuff. Oops, I got a little thing of putty on there. But see, I feel like adding extra nano tape too, if it gets on your canvas, it comes off a little bit easier. See, like there. There we go. Let's see. Teenager did take his written test for the driver's license. Had to take it twice because the first time we did not pass, and it was just, you know, they word some of those questions a little weird, and so he missed one too many, basically, you know, which is annoying. And then the second time we took it, I think she took it 2 weeks later. They don't use paper tests, you know, and it's not like a computer, like you go there and you use their computer. You basically have to log into your Washington State, you know, Department of Motor Vehicles account, and you have to log in at that specific time, and you do it all from your cell phone. Like, what? So, you know, of course, make sure your cell phone is charged, number one. Well, I'm waiting in the car. It's pouring down rain. I'm just kind of scrolling, you know, sending out prayers and good vibes, like, please pass this, please pass this. And I get a frantic text, all caps, so you know it's legit. You know, Mom, I can't log in. It says username not valid. What do I do? You know, help. You know, burst texting me. I'm in, you know, my instantly my blood pressure goes up. I'm like, oh my gosh, no. You know, so I'm trying to look up the username and the password because he had put it into his phone and he had saved the login information, but apparently it wasn't working. And I was like, oh my gosh. So I'm trying to get in it. The passwords are not letting me see my passwords. And so he's like, quick, you know, texting me. I'm like, just chill, give me a second. So I send him the login, I send him the password, and he says, that's not working. And I'm like, yeah, it should. So then I said, okay, try this other one. Because I had several saved because I screwed up when I was, you know, registering it. And he's like, no, that's not working. What do I do? Oh my gosh, you know, the cutoff window is going to end. And I said, he goes, should I go talk to the guy? You know, the person in charge. I'm like, yes, oh my gosh, yes. So he went, I guess, to talk to him, and I got no texts. I'm sitting there going, oh my gosh, oh no, this can't be good. And so not even 10 minutes later, he comes out, you know, it's dark, it's raining, and I'm like going, okay, no one else has left the building. So they didn't let him take it. Great. You know, now we got to come back for a third one. And he gets in the car and he's like, I passed. And I was like, oh my gosh, yes. He got a 90%. He said this test was easier than the last one because they, you know, they choose different questions, obviously. I guess the last time he took it, he goes, all the questions were about like weed and drugs. And I said, what? He goes, yeah, there were a lot of questions about drugs. He goes, there wasn't really any drug questions on this one. I was like, okay, okay, you know, I guess. So, yay. Now we just need to pass the driving part, which I don't know when he's going to take that because we have not been practicing the driving, which I know, bad parent alert. But problem is, it's been, why does that not look like the right one? Oh, that's not, because it's not, dummy. It's been very nasty here. Very, very, very nasty. We had a big windstorm. We'll talk about that later. So yeah, we got to practice the driving, but one more step down. Okay, there are two symbols in here that there's like a tree and there's a sideways arrow. And so I always try to, I put them next to each other in there so I can double check to make sure I am in fact grabbing the proper one when I'm doing this. And I really do want to be the person he can practice driving with. However, I literally think about him driving on the road and it makes me start to have, you know, like a tight chest and anxiety. So I need him to practice with Dad more before I can, you know, get into the mindset of that, because every time I drive my car and I see something, my first thought is, how would he handle that? What would he have done in this situation? You know, would he have had the skill to avoid getting taken out by, you know, the person who is not paying attention? Or would he have known to maybe wait 5 seconds at that light because people always run it? Like just, So the more I think about it, then the more it stresses me out. And I don't want to stress out the person who is learning to drive. It's a vicious cycle. And it's been so yucky here. We had a big old storm, like big old storm. Basically, was it Saturday? I don't know, last Saturday. They said it was supposed to be really windy, really rainy. And then they were saying, you know, wind gusts up to, I forget what they said, like 30, 40 miles an hour, which is pretty bad, especially since it had been raining all week. And, you know, we live in the land of trees. And when it's windy, tree branches fall down, trees fall down. So he had a school dance, like a costume type thing. And I had volunteered to help set up because they said they needed help setting up. And I was trying to be, you know, helpful and responsible. So I did go and help. And the school's in a very wooded area. And so the wind is picking up. We had worked on this balloon arch, and the balloon arch almost blew away, so they had to move it inside, and you can just hear things hitting the roof, you know, pine cones, tree branches, and, you know, I wasn't worried about something landing on the roof and, like, you know, coming through, just because it's a really sturdy building. But my first thought was, my car is parked over there under a tree, and so I went and I moved my car. But it was just, it was so gross. So then they finished, and my husband and Sassy Lassie and my mom all were here, and so they decided to go out to dinner. And he texted me, and he goes, yeah, the restaurant lost power. And I said, what? He goes, well, they lost power, and then it came back on like 2 minutes later. So that was good, but he said that people were, you know, I need to order, you know, all impatient with the waitress. And the waitress was like, the system has to reboot. I need a minute. People were like, well, can't you just write it down and, you know, then put it in the system? And she's like, that's no. They don't really like us to do that. We have to do it all from, you know, their little handheld thingy-mabobber. But he said, yeah, it was like, okay, hurry up, get our food. Here's my bill. You know, he said he brought cash because he's like, it's windy. What if the power goes out and then I have to sit around and wait for them to bill me? So he did bring cash, but apparently it was a very slow meal. And I was like, oh dear. Yeah, slow meals are not my favorite. So we finished decorating and we still had time. And I was like, do you want to go get, you know, something to eat real quick? There's a little coffee stand and they have, you know, hot food and coffee and stuff. And so we were leaving the school, and luckily I pay attention when I drive, as one should, obviously. And there was a bunch of broken tree branches in the little narrow road where you come in and out of the school. So we had to stop the car and move the tree branches because I wasn't about to roll over them with my car and puncture my tire and then be stuck in a wooded, scary area with a flat tire. That sounds awful. So we were out there lugging trees out of the road, and I mean, I felt like I was like a lumberjack or something. I'm like, whew, man, that was hard. Or it just shows how out of shape I am. But I didn't have the right clothes on or the right supplies. So, I mean, you know, I did get some slivers in my hand actually, and it did hurt. And the trees were all like super, you know, covered in tree stuff, you know, sap and pitch and I don't know all the official tree terms, guys. I'm not a treeologist. Yeah, so I took him and got some food and then brought him back and hauled tail home just because I did not want to be on the road, especially in the tree roads. So then my husband did actually go and pick him up after the whole thing was over. And of course, he's like, well, you know, I have to help clean up because he's, you know, part of the crew. And so my husband got there and he's like, I just went in and started helping because I wanted to get home. So he's helping tear everything down too. And he's like, it was windy. And I guess the area that the school is in lost power. They left there about 10, and I guess they lost power about 10:30. Yeah. Luckily, they got out before the power went outage. I am feeling a little pissy today. Yeah, I am. Which, you know, some people might be like, when is that not normal? Yeah, well, I've been having like this weird feeling in my tooth. Like basically when I start chewing or eating something, it feels like a slight sharp pain. And I did go to the dentist last week, and they were like, it's just your tooth, it's just wear on your tooth. I'm like, wear on my tooth? Never heard that phrase before. And she said that, you know, we can put this fluoride stuff on it and it should help. Because there's no cavity. They did like an x-ray and they're like, nothing really appears to be wrong. And they said, this fluoride should help, but if it doesn't, call us back. Well, fluoride did not help. And I went through the weekend, called them, and they, you know, had me come in, and they're like, we just don't see anything. It is really sensitive to cold, you know, the negative 26 degree cold thing that they put on my tooth. Well, yeah, I think most people would be sensitive to that, but okay. So they referred me to an endodontist, and I'm sitting there thinking, I've been to a periodontist. Like, have I ever been to an endodontist? I don't know. And so I did go there today, and they did the x-ray thing. Then they did this magical 3D x-ray picture thing that legit cost me $300 because they say insurance doesn't pay for it. And they could not see anything on the regular x-ray. They're like, it looks okay, but if it's that sensitive, after the expensive 3D x-ray, they said I have a little filling in that tooth, and the filling is really close to the nerve. And so I might need to get the filling replaced, but if they're replacing the filling, then it might touch the nerve on the tooth. And I'm like, okay. And they're like, so you might need to get a root canal after you try to get the filling. I said, okay. That sounds awful. So basically they're like, well, you can come and get the root canal, you know, or you can try to do the filling, and then you might still need to get the root canal. And I was like, I don't want to do 2 dental procedures. I mean, I would rather just, I don't want to get the root canal, but if that means I'm taking care of the problem sooner and not just delaying it, then I would rather do that. Ugh. So I had to schedule that, and I'm not happy about that because the dentist apparently is like, that guy's only there on Thursdays. Well, I have stuff on like every single Thursday for the next 2-3 weeks, I think. Yeah. Well, he's like, we could do it right now. And I was like, I am not mentally prepared to do that right now. No, thank you, sir. No, thank you. Ugh. No, that's not what I want to do on a Thursday. So I scheduled it and I got that fancy new calendar system, right? I'm the only one that puts anything into it. Well, apparently I didn't put my own doctor appointment in there. So I scheduled the root canal for Thursday, the 13th. Yeah, no, I get home and I'm like, I have a doctor appointment that day. So I had to call them back and be like, hi, hello. Apparently I don't know my own schedule and I need to reschedule this for the following Thursday. So hopefully that it's not overly sensitive and I can last until the 21st. Ugh, I don't like waiting to put stuff like that off just because I don't want it to become an emergency thing. So we will see. Yeah. Not my idea of a good time. I was having a slightly hard time in the doctor's office because I think it was the doctor who, I don't know if he forgot to put deodorant on or something, but it was very fragrant in the room and he kept reaching over my head, you know, to like reach onto the other side of my mouth. And yeah, it was, the scents were strong. Let's put it that way. I was like, oh my gosh. So when I have the root canal, I hope I have a stuffy nose. I really hope I have a stuffy nose, or maybe it was just like a one-off and it was really warm that day. Today, I don't know. You know, like I don't want to call and be like, hello, excuse me. Could I reschedule with somebody who's possibly wearing deodorant? Because again, and I don't know, maybe he doesn't wear deodorant. You know, there's cultural things. I don't know, but I'm worried about my comfort level. I'm already going to be anxious. So yeah, maybe it'll give my brain something else to focus on besides the fact that they're, you know, doing root canal things. I honestly don't even know what that is. I kind of forgot since the last one I had 10 years ago, and I'm not going to Google it because it won't help my brain. Nope, it won't. I did do a little cleaning in my diamond painting area. Yes, I did. My drawers were out of control. You know, you just throw stuff in there. I'll deal with it later. Well, later finally came because I couldn't find something. And the amount of generic toolkits, pens, wax, you know, little trays that you accumulate, it's unreal. Oh my gosh. I had so many, you know, tweezers and stuff like that. And it's just, I hate that you can't, for a lot of the companies, you can't just say, no, thank you, I don't need a toolkit. I know some companies you can, which I feel like is a great thing, but, and I understand the logistics of why a lot of companies don't have that option because they're all assembled overseas, you know? I just wish there was something that you could do because I'm like, what am I going to do with all these? And I know people say you can donate them here, you can donate them there. I don't know if anyone's tried to donate anything anywhere in a while, but I feel like it's getting harder and harder to make donations places, especially things that aren't brand spanking new. Like I literally just cleaned out my linen closet. Yeah, that was a chore. They were literally everything was falling out. And I was trying to find somewhere where I could donate, you know, gently used sheets and blankets. And so many places would not take used sheets or used blankets, or, you know, I understand things like pillows and stuff or mattresses, but yeah, I got to keep looking. The two places that I know, like local churches and stuff, donate to, they apparently are very picky about what they accept, which, I mean, it's their organization. They can do what they want, obviously. But I would, you know, I would love to be able to donate somewhere where people can actually use it instead of sending it to Goodwill, where they're going to, you know, upsell it for, you know, 20% more, or they're just going to throw it in the garbage. You know, I don't like that at all. That makes me sad. And it needs to be a reminder to myself, like, hey, maybe don't buy new throw blankets all the time. You know, maybe you don't need new sheets, right? Because you got a bunch. But it's easier said than done. Our society basically celebrates the overconsumption, and it just, you know, travels into every single area of our lives, I feel like. But that's a different rant. That is a different rant for a different day. Oh, so the desk. Okay, so I was organizing, you know, like, here are all the pens. Here's all the putty. Here's all the this. Here's all the that. And I was surprised by how much putty I've purchased over the years that I literally can't use because it's too soft and it makes a mess on my canvas. And that's not blaming the putty. That's operator error on my part. And I had gotten some of the Diamond Art Club, the pink putty, when they came out. And actually, fun fact, Mushy actually sent me the pink putty because she bought the mini dazzles and sent them to me as some surprise happy mail, and she was trying to get, I think, free shipping or something, and so she added in the putty. Well, and I did make a short, but I haven't posted it yet because I'm behind. The putty is hard, like rock hard. And I had her look and see when she placed that order. And she placed the order in, what did she say? It was June 2024. And so the putty is only like 16 months old. I don't feel like putty should go bad that fast. I was never able to use the putty from Diamond Art Club because it was way too soft, and it was like, I mean, it was chewing gum, and the scent was gag worthy. It was I think it was like rose scent. Oh my gosh, I opened it and I was like, ugh. It was so strong. I could not, I mean, even if with the putty texture, there's no way I would have been able to use it. Which again, so it was, I mean, it's hard. It is not, you know, pliable. And I did try to use it, but no, I don't feel like it's usable in the condition that it's in. And it's kind of a bummer because, you know, you spend $15 on something and it doesn't say anywhere on the package, you know, use within, you know, 10 days of opening, you know, kind of like something that you would buy at the grocery store. It doesn't really have an expiration date on it. So that's kind of a bummer. So if you have, you know, putties from places, you know, I'm sure every small shop or every company is different. I would definitely check it to make sure that, you know, you're not, some people might be like, I want to save it. Well, maybe don't be saving your putties, because if they're gonna go bad like that, you know, that definitely will make me think twice about just blindly ordering one of everything. If it's not going to last, then, I mean, you're basically just throwing your money away. Yeah, that was a bummer, because I actually wanted to try to mix the putty with other things to see if I could make it usable. And, you know, it's pink putty, so it's cute, but no, that is just thrown over there and it will get put in the garbage. I just keep forgetting to do it. It's just literally sitting on the table right next to me right now. Yeah. While we were having all that weather, Amazon, I don't know, Amazon usually sends their little, magic delivery trucks here. But for some reason, they decided to send a bunch of stuff to us. USPS, which is fine. I like our mail people. All the different people that deliver our mail. They're all great. But they're on my list because one night, I think it's like a Thursday night or something. I get I'm expecting something to be delivered. Like, okay, great. And we had gotten home at 6:50, okay, 6:50. I had checked my email after we got home, and it said, delivery attempt, could not deliver because your driveway was blocked or something. And it says that it was at 6:40. And there's no blocking of my driveway. The gate is open. No, there's no blocked driveway. And it was rainy. So, we were thinking maybe they just didn't want to get out, right? I mean, I also don't want to get out of my car, but I also don't deliver things for a living. And so we're like, okay. And it said, we'll contact, we'll attempt again. Well, they didn't attempt the next day, which was a Friday. And they didn't attempt on Saturday. And so I'm trying to figure out, okay, do I contact Amazon or do I contact USPS? Because it says on, Amazon, we gave it to USPS, I don't know, it's not our problem. So they did finally deliver it on, I think it was Monday. And also on Monday, we had something else that was going to be delivered from Amazon. And it said USPS. So they had already had to come to our front door to deliver the other thing. And I get an email. It says, oh, we attempted to deliver this, but but your address was unavailable or something like that. I'm like, huh? Because you were, the USPS was at my front door. So it's telling me that they couldn't deliver it because they couldn't, get to my house, but they had just gotten to my house. So I don't know if it's the USPS malfunctioning or Amazon functioning or what, but I was like, you can't choose who you ship with, but if I could, I would almost not choose USPS for Amazon anymore. And the thing that they were stalling on delivering was a Sharky shark costume. I mean, that is a very important delivery. So yeah, I will put a picture in here of Sharky in his shark costume. Spoiler alert, it's too small, even though I measured based on the size chart on the website. Yes, I did. He instantly fell over and, acted like he was being tortured. And then I tried getting a Batman costume, and it comes with a little mask and bat wings, but the bat costume part is way too big. Yeah. So I will put a picture of Duncan with the bat costume face mask on. Spoiler alert again. Neither cat is a fan of the costumes, but sometimes we do things for our own benefit and not necessarily the benefit of the furry animals. And I don't make them wear the costumes. It's literally just quick, put it on. Okay, he threw it off. Okay, done. So no animals were hurt in the making of me putting them in costumes. I promise. We did see a pink Bentley. Yes, we did. I was so mad that I'm not one of those people that is driving and staring at my cell phone, because if my cell phone would have been in my hand, I could have probably taken a picture of it, but that wouldn't be responsible. So I don't do that. And by the time I saw it, screamed, "Pink Bentley!" No one else had their cell phone, available to take a picture, and we had driven past it. So that was really sad. My husband goes, "Ew, gross." He goes, "Why would you do that to a Bentley?" I said, "If you have enough money for a Bentley, I mean, I feel like you should be allowed to paint it whatever color you want. Just saying. I mean, would I have a pink Bentley? That is not a question that I can answer, only because I will never be in a position to pay as much for a car that I could buy a house for. So, I mean, I guess if I was filthy, filthy, filthy rich and I literally had nothing else to spend my money on, maybe. I also think I would be terrified to drive a car that costs as much as a house. So I don't know if I would feel comfortable taking $500,000 out on the road. I mean, have you seen how people drive? Nope. No. I don't think I could do it. Let's see. I am not a sports fan. Shocking, I know. And, but, everybody around in my bubble, not like not my direct family, but, people I associate with, very excited because the Mariners almost went to the World Series, but in true Seattle fashion, did not quite make it. And I guess they are the only Major League Baseball team that has never gone to the World Series. Yeah. Which is sad. If you enjoy baseball, that is sad. Although, it was kind of disgusting to see on the news how much people were price gouging, right? Usually parking for a sports game downtown, I think, if you're close, can range, I think, from like, I don't know, maybe $40 to $60, which is disgusting in itself, right? But there were things on the news showing parking starting at $80. $80 to park your car. And people will go, well, just take the transit or just take the this, the that. You know how crowded those things get? Because people don't want to pay $80 to park their car? And if you're somebody like me who lives in a more rural area, I would have to drive to a park and ride and potentially take 1 or 2 buses to get downtown Seattle. So, it doesn't always work to say, just take the transit. And plus, there's been a lot of violence on the transit lately, which again, I would not be taking my entire family onto a bus if I thought there was a question that, somebody would be freaking out and getting stabby. No, thank you. No, I'm good. I will pay $80 to keep my safety over that. But it just kind of made me think, because then you see, oh yeah, prices are going up. Prices are going up for our basic everyday needs, right? And then you see that, the price of a bottle of water at the stadium is like $10 for a bottle of water. Or if you want to get food at the stadium, well, then it's, $20 hot dog, this, that. I remember being a kid and one of my friends, her dad was really into the baseball. And I feel like, you could go to the baseball game and, it wouldn't cost a fortune. And now, I mean, you can't have a discounted, fun family experience anymore. You just can't. I mean, it's sad that I feel like so many things that, people maybe used to do have become luxury things, going to a sports game, like a major team, right? I don't know how much, a minor league anything costs. Because again, I don't care about sports. I care about not wasting my money. I mean, like if I wanted to take, my family to the baseball game, I mean, you shouldn't have to sit there and think, okay, well, if the kids want to get a treat, am I going to have to scrimp on groceries next week? That makes me sad. And not even going to go into the whole, government shutdown BS garbage. No. Nope. And I'm not fully educated on that either, so I'm not going to talk about it because, again, I don't know. I don't like the fact that so many things that, everybody, talks about and brags about, and not in like a braggy way. Brag is not the right word. But, you know, like, oh yeah, we went to the Seahawks game. We went to the baseball game. We went to this game. You know, so many people, it's unattainable at this point to do that. And I hate that. I absolutely hate that. And I understand the World Series and like playoff games are a whole nother beast, but everyday sports ball games and things like that are also really expensive. At least they are in Washington. I don't know about other places because I don't travel anywhere because I don't want to travel. I would love to know, would people be willing to pay $80 to park your car? I don't know, man. I really don't know. So the big windstorm, we did not lose power. Shockingly, when the bomb cyclone hit, oh man, we were out without power for, I think 4 days, and we didn't have internet for almost a week. So I was shocked that we lost. A lot of people around us lost power. I think it's said online with, you know, because like there's different power companies, right? Our company, Puget Sound Energy, they had, I think, 150,000 people without power. But that's just a small little chunk of the state, right? There's tons of other counties and companies that give power. So it was pretty bad. It was not good. So I am grateful that last year, after the bomb cyclone, we did invest in we got one of those solar panel generator thingies, and my husband did get our actual generator up and running. Although, you know, I mean, that's kind of an imperfect thing, but it's literally better than nothing. So yeah. Why did I just use that color? I just did that color. Why did I do that? Oh, well, I did miss one, but still, that was dumb. That was dumb. I did actually screw up on this canvas down somewhere. I got the big F and the little f mixed up because if you look, F and F, and I was not paying attention, and they're both orange, and I was looking at, it was this one, and I was like, I'm like, this is a really big color. Why are there not that many left in this container? And then I looked, and I said, oh, that's because you put them on the wrong one. Yeah, so I highly recommend if you have ones that are like kind of similar and close by, to mark them on your container. Oh, these are the, what do you call them? The luminescent. You can see, look at that. It's like frosted. They are so cool looking. I hope more companies start using ones like that. I mean, you can just see the color difference with the regular drills and then that one. It really does give it a little bit of interest and intrigue. Okay, let's do a little bit of this last color. Yesterday I was putting laundry in the bathroom, and husband had just left for work, and I was like, okay, so I put the laundry in, and then I'm like, oh, I need to pee. I'm in the bathroom. The door is closed, you know, right? Because sometimes I'm bad about fully closing the door if I'm home alone, and then the cat will burst in, and then I'm like, ah! But the door was closed, okay? It was closed. So, you know, I'm, finishing up, like, do, and all of a sudden, the door just opens, like not a little creak. No, it opens, and I screamed so loud. And my husband's like, what? And I was like, I thought you were gone. I thought you were at work. He's like, what are you doing in here that you're so secretive about? I was like, I'm not doing anything secretive. I was peeing. But the reason I screamed is because I thought he was gone. I thought he had left for work. The ring had dinged. I had seen, the notice saying there was motion in the driveway. So I assumed that was, him pulling his car out of the driveway. But no, that was him getting out of his car, coming back to the house because he forgot to grab something. And he's like, why are you so freaked out? Well, I thought the cat had opened the door. because Duncan, he has opened doors before, because we have the doorknobs that are, you know, you push it. It's more of the, I don't know the official name. It's not the knob, okay? It's not the round ball knob. And we actually had to change the door handle that goes down to my mom's little downstairs apartment, because the cat got the door open. He wanted to go down there, and he had like jumped up and actually knocked the knob and got down there. So that's why I was freaked out. It wasn't like I was doing something secret in the bathroom. It was me literally thinking that the cat was learning how to open doors, and that, you know, if he starts opening doors, he's gonna learn how to take over the world or something. I have no idea. So yeah, that was my, I'm like, I just wanted to pee. You know, just don't want to have anxiety for a few minutes. But now I'm panicking, thinking the cat's breaking into the bathroom while I'm trying to pee. You know, so, some people have animals where, you know, like you go to the bathroom and they like try to stick their paw under the door or whatever. Ours will just sit outside the door and meow, or they'll just sit there and you open the door and they're just staring at you the moment you open it, you know, like, what were you doing? You know, were you hiding candy in there? Do you have treats? So yeah, just like, nope. Like, I said, can I get you a bell or something and put it on your neck so when you come back in the house, you know, and he's not like a small, you know, person. He's 6 foot something tall, right? Like, so he makes noise when he walks, you know, like you're wearing your work shoes and you got all your keys and your jangly bits, you know. The washing machine and the dryer were going, so I didn't hear his normal noises. And then I screamed. So, you know, I mean, I'm glad it was him and it wasn't like somebody breaking in to steal me, because honestly, the person would probably try to like kidnap me and I would be all opinionated and naggy and they would probably just bring me back home. So, yeah. All right, let me zoom out. All right, this is where we are going to leave off for today. Not a ton done, but a little bit is better than nothing. So, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me while I work on this custom Rokari Patch Kid. If you have not, please consider liking, subscribing, sharing, hearting, farting, doing all the things, and I will see you again very, very soon. Big awkward hugs. Bye, guys. I think we're as good as we're gonna get. That was embarrassing. Nope. Fail. Fail. Messing it up. Messing it up. That was a mess. Of course it was. Of course it was. Let's put the cute one right there. Let's replace that scary one and put a cute one right there. Oh my gosh, stop burping. I don't know what that is. That's a later problem. That's not a right now problem. Zoom, 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 zoom. Hi, Duncan. Hello. 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 Hi. There you go. Good job. Good job. You helped. You helped by not touching the glue. I appreciate that.